Hi, and welcome back to meatrabbits.org. I'm going to keep this brief. I'll probably be piecing together several videos today. It is kindling day for the does that were bred in the video, a good breeding day. And so, I've been keeping a close watch on activity in here, mostly because I want to be sure to catch any issues with these champagnes. You can see I've really packed their cages with hay, which I don't like to do, but I just, as much as I kept putting hay in the nest boxes, I was not confident, and I still am not, that they're going to deliver in the boxes. So I was out here early this morning. I'm back here for feeding time and checking on things, and just keeping a real close eye in case they deliver outside the box, which I suspect they will, and then I can put their kits in the box. So we have 5 does due today. We have Tippy, Aster, the 2 champagnes, Peony and Rose, and Holly. Holly I'm not too concerned about because she's an old pro and she's usually an awesome mother. Actually, Tippy I'm not either, and Tippy already has delivered. When I came out at 6, she didn't look like she had anything going on. Between 6 and 8:30, she pulled all that fur, and there are some nice warm squirming kits under there. Aster, on the other hand, is an act in frustration, and I talked in the New Year's resolution video about making some culling decisions, and unfortunately Aster has just proven today that it's time for her to go. I have gotten 4 or 5 litters out of her, but there's always a problem. I'm not sure if she is maybe a little pinched or internally has some fat or what her issue is, but it's not just that. It's some sort of issue with her not quite gestating kits properly, not mothering great. She's kind of always delivered either on wire or at the front of the box. It was interesting because at 6 o'clock I thought that she might have had kits in there. She had some fur pulled. There were no kits in there. And then I come back out and she's got them all delivered at the front of the box. And, they're all cold. So those 6 are in there warming, and I think that I caught them and maybe we'll be able to save them. But there's something else going on with her. And before I move on with this, I just want to say I'm going to show you some deformed kits. This isn't pretty or nice to look at. So if this is something you feel like you don't want to see or look at, I would recommend skipping ahead. But also, if you're raising meat rabbits, you might want to look at these difficult things because they could happen to you just as easily. And the reason I'm showing this is because I'm a little interested to hear from anybody who's had this. Every time Aster has a litter, and here I'm going with this, I have at least one of these that just are not totally formed. Or I don't. It didn't look, I don't know. I don't think it looks properly formed. There's always at least one of these. See, I don't even think like this one. I don't think we have legs here. Unless she chewed off the back end. I don't think so, though. I think this is how they were born. I always have at least one of something along these lines. So, not fun. And in one way, I'm glad that she's making a decision for me. I've kind of felt all along that she probably was one of them that was top of the cull list. And in one way, I guess I should appreciate the fact that she's making it obvious that she should go over someone else that's either more proven, more reliable, or someone that should be given more chances. And I'm looking at the champagnes only because they're young moms. So I just don't feel like they've been given the chances they need yet to decide on culling or not culling them. I'm nowhere close to deciding to culling those 2. I'm just saying that. But frustrated with Aster. It's too bad. She's fine otherwise, but there's just too many strikes against her, and this just isn't working out. So I'm going to end this here. I'll be back later with more updates that, I'll edit them all together in the video here and see where we end up at the end of the day. Kind of looks like maybe Holly's getting some interest in going into her box. And so, yeah, I'm going to just get everybody fed and get out of here and just come in and check a few times today. Also, not the best day for them to kindle, only because National Grid is doing so much tree work on my road, which we knew was coming, but unfortunately it came this week, so that means there's a lot of unusual noise here. So there's chainsaws going, which is not a totally unusual noise for my rabbits because, you know, we cut wood for the home, and that's right outside the barn too. So that's not entirely out of character for them, but there's a whole tree chipper out there. There's at least one bucket truck. Like, there's several of these crews up and down the road. Not blaming them, just saying that isn't the ideal situation when I want nice, calm, and quiet for these rabbits, but I'm just gonna have to do what we have to do. I can't control that. So that's it for now, and we'll be back later, and hopefully the rest of the day goes better. These are the 6 I'm trying to warm. You might be able to see we do have some movement, and they are making some noise, which, as I understand it, the noise can actually be a sign. I think it can go one of 2 ways. It can be a death throw, but it can also be something that's pretty typical for warmed kits, because if they're hypothermic, it's pretty painful coming out of that, which is really unfortunate, but there's nothing I can do about that except to try and warm them and do the best I can. So starting to see some perking up and some moving in here. Gonna give them a couple minutes and then get them into a box, make sure there's plenty to keep them warm, and go from there. In the past, Aster's been a fine mom once we get over the hoops of birth, but it's getting there. But again, you know, she's definitely one for the call list, unfortunately. Okay, so real quick update on Peony. I came out after I got Aster's situated in the water, came out to check. She actually does have a litter of kits in the back of the box, which is awesome. There was one in the front of the box, cold, but not dead, and still actually was making some noise and moving. So took it in the house, warmed it up. Actually, that one got the chest treatment. Warmed it up, just put it back in with the kits. I don't know if it's going to make it or not. I'm not holding anything against her. I'm happy with her at this point. She's doing what she needs to do. I actually think that one looks like it might be a runt, and she might have just been, you know, nature taking its course. So we'll see how it goes with that. I'll keep checking all these boxes, make sure that we don't end up with any cold dead kits in there, which are going to cause problems and chill other kits. Asters are the ones I'm going to be concerned with the most. So they did all perk up and are all moving inside. I took her nest box in, have it on my radiator, have the kits in it, to give them a little more time to warm up, and then I'll bring that back out and we'll cross our fingers. But I don't have a lot of experience with success rates of kits that are warmed, especially from that kind of close to comatose state or comatose. The ones that I have been successful with are ones that were cold and really getting close to that point, but we're not at that point yet. So they still had some life and some movement in them. So we'll see. I've seen a lot of people say that, you know, yeah, you bring them back, but your success rate or the percentage that actually survive is pretty low. But all we can do is try, and it's worth a try. So historically in the past, even when Aster has had problems, once we get them back in there, she takes care of them, she nurses them. So I don't anticipate that being a problem. But clearly there are enough other does that if I end up having to foster those off, if we get that far, then that could be an option too. But that is a later decision, later issue, and just going to keep going from here.